Good morning, folks. Good morning. I just want to give you a quick intro. I am Sekou Writes. I am your host, and I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I survived two different strokes, and one was only 17% of living. So, in other words, it took me 17% to win, to walk out of the hospital, So today we're talking about Stroke Awareness Month. And we've got a special guest on the show with us tonight. So we're going to talk to him in just a few minutes, and let's go. Marco!
Sekou, what's up, brother? What's up?
What's up, bro? So here we are again. Here we are again. Doing it again for the, second year?
I think it's the second year, yeah.
Wow, doing it. So for those of you that don't know, Marco is Melissa's husband, and he had a stroke. He had a stroke before I did, and we've been talking about it off screen and on screen. We've been talking about it here and there, and we've just been talking about the good things and the bad things about the stroke, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you about something I noticed just recently. We came to see your daughter's performance in
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes.
Their senior show at Talent Unlimited High School. Yep.
Yeah, so she was getting down. She was getting down. But you know what I noticed, though, that you seem to be comfortable. Like I had to physically move to get some comfort to my legs because my you know the deal. But my right side is always expressing some kind of pain, and so I felt like I needed some more space. So I moved over to a space, an area with more space. But you seemed completely comfortable, and I was watching. I was like, he's doing okay. I'm gonna do okay. But now I was like, I can't. I gotta move. So tell me about that. Like, what is it that are you more comfortable, or like what's happening there?
Well, I think strokes affect us all in different ways, right?
Yes, that's true.
So in your recovery, like if people look at you outwardly, they don't see the effects of the stroke really. You know, they have to know you and pay attention to see the little things that you still deal with, and nobody will really know the pain that you still suffer through. In my case, I don't suffer from any pain. So
no pain?
I have no pain. I have no pain anywhere. So sitting down in different spaces is not a challenge for me. Now there may be little things that I think is more age than the stroke. Like every once in a while I get a little pain in my knee as I'm going up and down the steps. I may, I'm trying to reach over and get something. I got to stretch. That's more getting older than the effect of the stroke. So I think that's really a testament to all of us. Everybody's body is different, and we all react differently and recover differently from a stroke. And I think we all need to be mindful of that. Just because one person's situation doesn't mean that's going to be your situation, right? Yeah. So when you see me sitting in those auditorium seats that aren't made really for adults, they're made for kids. It doesn't bother me as much, obviously, because I don't have any residual pain as a result of the stroke. So
that was very well said. That was very well said. And for all of you watching, you need to remember this. You need to remember that everyone's stroke is different. Everyone's stroke is different. Like our strokes, just talking here now, are completely different. But that they're different from the third person and the fourth person and the fifth person. Every stroke is different. Now I did not know that, just coming into it, but now I know that everybody's stroke is different. And so what I want you to take away from this is, don't think that because your friend or your relative had this kind of stroke that they're going to be the same as this other person has a stroke. Each stroke is different. Each stroke is different. So I wanted to hit that hard. Each stroke is different, because it's different.
Yeah, and each person's recovery is different. Like, when I was going through it, and I think we've talked about this before, one of the doctors in the rehab center, shared with me that, when you have a stroke, it's like it's a neurological event. So your brain's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle with millions and millions of pieces.
Wow.
So those pieces have to be put back together, and they may not all fit back together quite the right way.
Right.
So there are different reactions. So some people may be able to recover and move all their limbs fine again and everything. Some people may have pain. Some people may not fully get use of their affected side. Some people may not be able to talk the same. It's all of these different factors that play into your recovery.
Yeah. It just reminded me of, I shake hands like this with a fist bump. Everyone thinks I'm being so cool. So cool. But what I'm doing is I'm preventing you from grabbing my hand. Because if you grab my hand, it's going to hurt me. It's going to hurt. And so I'm just using my fist to bump you out. So, and I've gotten good to the point where I'm really almost 100% with the fist. Every once in a while, I put my hand out, but I really got the fist out because I'm doing something that helps me. And then people look at it and think, "Oh, Sekou's so cool," and they don't put it in the context. I think don't put it in the context of a stroke.
Yeah, and like we learn to adapt. Our bodies adapt, and that's natural. You have a stroke, whether you're injured in some other way, you will adapt to be able to do what you need to do. Like I always say, I'm differently able. So I feel like I can do everything I want to do just differently than most people. In your case, you're gonna fist bump everybody, so you don't have to deal with the pain.
Yeah.
A lot of times if I'm out, chances, especially like this time of year is great for me because I can walk around with a hoodie on, and because sometimes I can't really extend my left arm the way I'd like, I can put my hand in my pocket and walk around and feel normal, as opposed to if I'm walking around outside and I don't have a pocket, then my right arm is going to be dangling and moving, but my left arm may be in that locked position, because that's what happens sometimes. You'll get locked up, because you don't heal properly, or you have tone, as they call it. That tone in your arm just kind of keeps you from having full movement.
Really?
And it takes a lot to really get that. And sometimes, some days it's really good. Most days it's not. So this becomes my adaptation. That I keep my arm in my pocket, especially if I'm walking around, I'm out in the street.
Right.
It's just easier for me.
Right. That's interesting. So you're saying that there's a lockup at some point?
Yeah. So if you have like if I don't know if you can see well, but see, I'm pushing my arm out.
Yep.
But when I do something and I'm exerting energy, automatically my arm will draw up, because I'm taking the energy to do walking or climbing steps or or lifting something, and all my energy is going to that, and the energy it takes to keep my arms straight, I'm not focusing on that. So the tone, all the muscles kind of are focused on, hey, let's do this other thing over here, and and this will now kind of overcompensate to say, yeah, we're working these muscles on this side, but this, what it is weird because we don't think about the triceps and what the triceps do when you're not really doing anything, but they're helping you keep your arms straight and keeping you walking, moving around, similar to when we walk, and we walk with, heel first and then toes, and then pick our feet up. And, when you're affected with the stroke, your affected side, you'll have what you call drop foot. Because now you don't do that. You're just doing that.
Yes.
There's no.
Speaking of which, I don't think I've talked about this before, because, by the time I could speak, I was already past most of these hurdles. But that reminded me. So my right foot, I guess it's doing that flat-footed thing you just talked about. But I'm still running every day. And what I noticed is that my right sneaker, all of my right sneakers have the toe splitting. Like my toe is coming up too high and splitting the tip of the sneaker. In my right shoe, all my right shoes now, is coming out. And I'm like, what is that? And so that's what I think it is. It's that I don't know, the pressure of the foot is different.
Or does your foot catch sometimes when you're running or walking? Does your right foot catch when you're kind of bringing it up to go to take that next step? Because I noticed that too. That when that happens to me, I then become conscious. Okay, let me focus a little bit more to actually lift my leg and not get lazy.
Yeah.
Because that laziness will cause, again, the drop foot, you just kind of pull it along as opposed to pick it up and put it down. And you pull it along, then that also can cause a trip and fall, which has happened to me. It only happened to me once. But at one time I was like, it's like, well, that won't happen again.
Yeah. You may remind me of something else too. So what I have is a promise I have with God, of the universal power. I told him that if I fall, I'm gonna stop running. If I fall, I'm gonna stop running. And I've gotten close a couple times. I got really close. I started to stumble, and I catch myself just barely. And I'm like, I can't believe I didn't fall. Can't believe I didn't fall. And so I was like, all right, well, let me try to run a little further. And that's how I've been able to make it out to, wait a minute, hold on. Let me check my app before I say something. I'm at 855 running days as of today. 855. And that's what I'm experiencing. That I don't know what to call it, but that sense of catching myself has done well. And also I don't know, I lost it.
But what I will say though is I would, first of all, I always tell you it's amazing that you've been able to run the way you have after stroke. You ran marathon, just a couple months after you had your stroke. But if you do fall, don't stop, because all it will do will be your form of therapy, because it'll remind you or teach you, like, okay, well, why did I fall? Or it'll be really clear when you do fall. It'll be really clear what happened. It'll be, because for me, it was, again, I shuffled. I didn't, and it happened to be wintertime, so there was still some ice on the ground, some snow in pockets. So it's like, okay, I didn't really lift my leg or foot the way I should have.
Yeah.
And then other times I've had the situation like you like, I feel like I'm about to fall, but I'm able to catch myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're more aware. So
Yeah.
don't just use it as a learning tool, is because it'll be part of your therapy. I mean, the
Yeah.
running
Right.
is your therapy.
Right. Okay. And that just reminded me what I was going to say. I was going to say that, like you, I think I'm getting this right. That like you, my right foot can do whatever it's going to do, whatever it's going to do, like any given day, right? Because some days I'm walking and I'm fine, and the next day I'm walking and I'm like, whoa, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? And so people, walk with you, and they assume that you're gonna walk the same way. But you're like, but you don't feel like saying something all the time. But I'm like, all right, I'm definitely feeling it today. I'm gonna have to figure out how to overcompensate or tell them to slow down or do something in order to move more effectively. So that happens to you too, right?
The walking thing in particular, because like you said, people are walking at different paces. Excuse me. I can't walk fast anymore. I'm definitely not running. That was the one thing. The biggest difference for me is like, yeah, at one point when I first, was in the therapy and really in it, I was like, I even said to myself, I will feel like I'm all the way back if I can, if I can run a marathon. Because I worked the New York City Marathon, never ran it. And watching everybody run, it is inspirational. And I'm like, you know what? This would be the thing for me to come back and actually run or run half walk the marathon, whatever.
Yeah.
But as I've gone on, it's clear to me I'm not running nowhere. I'm crossing the street, light changing, cars gotta wait. I'm not running. I'm not even trying to walk extra fast. I mean, it's being clear in where your body is, knowing again, I can do everything I want to do. It's just it has to be done differently. I may not be able to walk as fast as the person I'm walking with. I'm going to get there.
Yeah.
I know I'm walking faster than I walked before. Those days where because I have my woozy balance days too. Sometimes you're walking and all of a sudden you start weaving. It's like, well, but again, like you said, you try to compensate and readjust yourself, to make sure, because it happens in the weirdest times. It doesn't happen when you're in therapy and they're having you walk and they want you to turn your head left and right as you're walking to make sure you can walk. Then everything is good. It's when you're out there in the world and all of a sudden you walk with somebody and all of a sudden you bump into them by accident. It's like, well, why did that happen? They're like, are you okay? It's like, yeah, I'm all right. I don't know what happened there, but I'm okay.
Right.
So yeah, it definitely happens. It's just a matter of trying to deal with how does it happen.
Yeah, you made me think of something when you said about the world. I think what happened for me is that after I had the stroke, I still had I had even better. I had even better a mind that was childlike. Like I've said that, like I feel like I am turning 3 this coming birthday. This coming remembrance of when I beat the stroke, and so that's coming up, in July. And I think that's what was given to me. Like I had this mindset. I'm going to run a marathon, even though it made no sense. It made no sense. It made no sense. And then I was like, all right, let's just do it. Let's just do it. And now me Sekou, now I've run a marathon twice, and now I'm like, I can't run no marathon. Like, but I've done it already. I've done it already. I'm looking back at like, how did I do that before? Because now I've got all the regular things of my thoughts are here now, where they weren't there before.
Yeah. I don't know that I've had that. I think the only way I have some of that is I guess you do feel like you can in a way you can do a little bit of anything.
Yeah.
Like if I guess my closest example is, every year, with the radio station, for those that don't know, I
Yes.
own and operate an internet radio station,
Plug
rhythmandsoulradio.com,
them. Plug them.
which is what I'm wearing right now. And so, there's this major festival in Austin, Texas that some people may know about called the South by Southwest Festival. And I said, I'm going to go to that. That's probably my only thing like you went through in terms of running a marathon. I think the difference is now, mind you, I had no real connects, no intro. I reached out and said, hey, can y'all let us cover it with a radio station? They were like, no, get out of here, beat it. So I went anyway, and
as a guest,
just went. Period. Just went. Said we're gonna go and we're still gonna broadcast. We're gonna connect with some venue and do an event. We didn't just go. We went with an artist who's an amazing artist. Shout out Dawn Tallman. Shout out Josh Milan, who came and performed an event we did, and it was amazing. And that became the lead to now we go every year. We get media passes every year. We cover it every year. We do live broadcasts and we do events. Wow. So I think that's the only thing that I can, compare to your situation. And I guess for me, I never thought about it like that it was because I had the stroke that I felt like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do it. I think, but looking back on it, that might be that, because the stroke, I guess, does give you a sense of you have a second chance. Because 50, I think this number is still correct. 50% of the people who have strokes, die because of the stroke or some related effect of the stroke. So
yeah, I'm gonna beat your statistic because I was trying to get it earlier. That my statistic for my type of stroke is only 17% survive.
Right.
Everyone else passes away. Yeah.
Right. So there is that feeling of there is a second chance. So so what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with this second chance? One of your things was to run a marathon and raise monies for organizations and charities to help people. My thing continues to be the radio and supporting independent music and independent artists.
Yeah.
And doing things, in a different way or bigger way than I might have done it before, to continue to do what I do. So,
Yeah, man. And you know what? I just think, wow. I'm just thinking about the different things that you said. And I did not learn that I had the type of stroke that I had. I'm trying to remember the name. Dyscalculia. No, that's not it. I'll get the name. But anyway, I did not know that I had only a 17% chance of surviving until like 2 years. I had a stroke for 2 years. Like they didn't tell me. First of all, they didn't tell me anything. They didn't tell me anything, right? I woke up in the hospital. Didn't know I was in the hospital, and then no one talked to me. They just did their things and they moved me right along. So they didn't talk to me until it was in New York. It was in New York. I just remembered it was in New York that this guy was reading my charts. He's like, "What? How are you standing here?" I was like, "I'm not standing here. What do you mean? How am I here? I'm standing here." Like, and then it took me a little bit to come back to him. I was like, "What did you mean by that?" He's like, "Yeah, man, because you should be dead." And I was like, "What?" What? And then he said that, and that's what led me to go down the rabbit hole, do some research, and find out that I'm one of 17%, and that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Yeah. And I was using that secondary opportunity even before I knew that I was a close match.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, for a quick minute, I had to shout out because there's so many people. I mean, we're for the longest time, you think about people having strokes and they're older. My grandfather had, you know, multiple strokes. My grandmother had multiple strokes.
Oh wow.
My grandmother had her strokes. My grandfather passed. She was the caretaker for my grandfather for
Wow.
years. And when he passed through, like a couple of months later, she had her first stroke. Then a couple of years later, she had her second stroke. And then eventually she had her third stroke. She still lived to be like 96.
Wow.
So but I think people need to understand in this Stroke Awareness Month that more and more younger people are having strokes for whatever reason. So whether it's diet or blood pressure or whatever, or stress or whatever it is, and it's important to be able to look out for the symptoms and preventative measures, but also for those around you who may have a stroke, the support factor is so important. You know, and just in general, as you see people who may be affected, how how do you support them?
Yeah.
Just little things, you know, give them extra space as they're
Yeah.
walking by. Don't try to do stuff for them. Just give them the space to do what they're doing. You know,
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again.
yeah, a lot of times, because I don't know if you get this, I get this a lot. People are like, oh, let me get that for you. Oh, I can carry that for you. I was like, I don't necessarily want you to carry anything for me or do anything for me, but give me the space to do it.
Interesting.
Because psychologically, that's a very important. Because again, I say I'm differently able, and I want to feel differently able because as long as I feel that I can do what I'm doing, then I have a better mindset. I mean, what how you feel mentally about your situation is everything, you know, and I kind of bring that up because just the fact that people are having strokes younger and younger, because I know a number of people around me now having strokes. Shout out George Littlejohn, founder of Purpose Records, who's recovering from a stroke. Shout out Kiki Hawkins, who I just found out is back in the hospital with stroke symptoms. And she just had the beginnings of about a month and a half ago, and she's back in the hospital. She just called me yesterday. Shout out to those who don't necessarily have strokes but have symptoms to deal with your mobility, like we do. DJ Shani, who's somebody I met in Austin, Texas, and is still a good friend, and we've talked quite a bit about, like I was saying, that space being made for you to do what you do. She is a full-on DJ in Austin, Texas. She's on the radio there. She does events. She DJs around town, and she's a cancer and multiple sclerosis survivor. So she has mobility challenges. There are days where she can't get out of bed. There are days where she's just extra tired. Oh, and she also does taxes. So it's there is that space that sometimes as we go through our challenges, that those around you need to make space for you to continue to do and live your life. And not be an impediment. I mean, some of it is common courtesy. You see somebody, with a cane, give them a little space. Like we're Shani and I were in a club in Austin, and she's standing there with her cane, and people like kind of walking over her cane. It's kind of like you see the cane right there. Right. Take another step around. I mean, it's just sometimes it's little things. Right. That's important. So I know that's getting off track, but it's kind of on track.
No, that's on track.
Because it's about it's about a mental acknowledgement of where we are in our space and those around us, and those around us need to have a similar mental acknowledgement in terms of how can I help this person continue to function and be better, because it does help the recovery as well, to know that okay, I can do whatever I can do, and I don't have to feel as self-conscious about it.
That was good. That was good. That was good. We're going to use that to close the show.
All right.
But let's just add one thing. I think we need to decide what we're going to do for stroke people before we're here again. Let's make something happen before we're here, because you'll be here again.
Yes.
Yes. Again next May. This is Stroke Awareness Month. In case I didn't say it. Today is Monday. Well, the month of May is Stroke Awareness Day. Stroke Awareness Month. Sorry.
Yep.
And you'll be back. But let's figure out a way that we can touch somebody, that we can, give something back to the people. Let's figure it out. Let's just do it.
We'll work on it. We'll come up with some ideas, and then you can share what we're doing, here on the show.
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks for being here. And remember, folks, that now is better than perfect. Now is better than perfect. And I'll see you tomorrow. Later.